Donald Trump facing tough questions about his hot mic moment right out of the gate. Watch.
You called what you said locker room banter. You described kissing women without consent, grabbing their genitals. That is sexual assault. You bragged that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly I'm not proud of it, but this is locker room talk.
So how did you think that he handled it? Here to break it down is our political panel, Amy Holmes of Rasmussen Reports, Caitlin Huey Burns with Real Clear Politics, and Democratic strategist Brian Benjamin. Thank you guys for being with us. How did y'all think that he handled it? Brian, I'll start with you and we'll just go down the line.
Well, I've been in many locker rooms, and that's not locker room talk. Talking about grabbing women's genitals without their consent was the main issue, and I think that he still needs to explain.
All right, what do you think, Caitlin?
I think that he didn't quite move on from it. In fact, I think he could have dug himself further with independent voters and women by going after Clinton directly on her husband's infidelities. That's a route that many Republicans didn't want him to go down, wanted him to move and focus on issues.
Amy, what do you think?
I thought he didn't put it behind him, but he did effectively set it to the side. And as I was watching, a friend of mine texted, she said, "It feels like I'm watching two angry parents arguing through a divorce.
Right.
This is so uncomfortable." And meanwhile, they didn't love each other in the first place.
I know, they didn't shake hands.
So, no. So, for me, I felt like it was a draw between the two candidates because at the end, you just wanted to take a shower.
Well, at the end, they did shake hands, and they did answer the question that we'll show later in the show.
Absolutely.
That guy asked, like, can you say something positive about each other? So I thought that was had a little bow on
It's almost
the
shocking.
Well
All
done
right.
by both of them.
They talked about, let's talk about some of the issues. They talked about foreign policy, they talked about the economy, they talked about health care. We're going to show you some sound bites of all of those topics, and then we'll discuss them one by one. Take a listen.
We're going to make sure that nobody, no corporation and no individual can get away without paying his fair share.
We're bringing the tax rate down from 35% to 15%. We're cutting taxes for the middle class.
Premiums have gotten too high, co-pays, deductibles, prescription drug costs, and I've laid out a series of actions that we can take to try to get those costs down.
It is a disastrous plan, and it has to be repealed and replaced.
We are not at war with Islam, and it is a mistake, and it plays into the hands of the terrorists to act as though we are.
I will knock the hell out of ISIS. We're going to defeat ISIS.
All right, Amy, I'll start on your end. What did you think, first of all, of foreign policy?
I thought there wasn't enough of it, and we didn't get deep enough into it. So, for example, both candidates say that they support a safe zone in Syria. Well, what that means is deeper military intervention when it comes to the United States, because if a Russian plane flies over and bombs citizens in Syria, who's going to be shooting them down? The United States. So I felt that it was a little shallow, but unfortunately, a lot of this campaign has been shallow, and part of it is, I think, the media not asking really probing questions when it comes to foreign policy.
So who won on foreign policy?
I prefer the more conservative approach, of course, but I wanted to hear more.
Okay, Caitlin?
I thought a really interesting moment was when Donald Trump diverged from his own running mate when it came to approaching ISIS and the relationship with Russia and involvement in tackling Syria. I thought that was a really key moment of the campaign, saying that they haven't spoken about that policy and he disagrees with him, and he was read a statement by Mike Pence. So for that reason, I think Clinton won that segment.
And I had to wonder, does Mike Pence know that Trump disagrees with him?
Apparently he does, because he was tweeting last night that he's going back on the trail, that he was proud of the top of the ticket. So those rumors that they're breaking up.
All right, economy. Who won on the economy and why?
On the economy, I think Hillary won. I just think that Trump never gives really good explanations, and he acts as if the president is a dictator, which the president is not. And so whenever I hear his comments, I'm saying to myself, the guy asked him a question. How is it that you're going to make it more fair for the lower income people and middle income people? His argument is to say, let's cut taxes from 35% to 15% for everybody. That helps the upper class. So he doesn't answer questions.
Amy, Hillary said she wants to increase taxes for anyone making $200,000 or more. Is that the best plan to tax the rich?
Well, if you were to ask Chuck Schumer, no, because when we looked at tax reform under George Bush, Chuck Schumer was one who say, well, in New York City, $200,000 a year, while it is a lot for most Americans, is not a lot for New York City residents. But getting back to your point, when it came to asking, answering questions about the economy, again, I just felt like the questions were very shallow and that we moved on too quickly so that we couldn't really learn more about what these two candidates want to do as commander-in-chief.
Thank you guys so much. I did think it was interesting on health care. Hillary Clinton said that she said, quote, if we could start over, maybe we could have come up with a better plan, talking about Obamacare. All right, thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ainsley.